Hi guys, this is the second part of the series on shooting products on white background, and I'm gonna go quickly through the setting that I did in the last video. So this is the seamless paper, and it's kind of a little bit slanted, so some of the light would reflected on the plexiglass that is on the table. And I have on the top here the one softbox that will light the background, and it has two SB700s connected to Photex Odin, and this is the softbox that will have two SB800 connected also to Photex Odin, that will give me some fill on the table itself. And the main lights will be the Paul C buff 600 and the 1200, so the ratio is going to be in the power between 2 to 1. Now I'm putting both on minimum power simply because they are very powerful compared to the speed lights, and that way I'm gonna still be able to shoot around f9 f10. That will give me enough depth of field. So that's the priority here, to get the depth of field so we get everything into focus. The object I'm going to be shooting right now, or the product, is going to be a sock. So essentially it is on a mannequin, and I did this DIY flaps, simply papers, one side white, one side black. The purpose of the black paper is to dial in negative fill, so I will still get less wash from the background when I'm gonna blow it to 255. Basically the priority at the beginning is to get the exposure of the product, so we need to do that, and I'm gonna try first using the Photex Odin here. So basically I put the speed lights in the back on a group A, B, those two on C. Okay, so I'm gonna be working on C group here, and that's the nice thing about using the Photex Odin. You can do control of the power and zoom from a distance as far as the speed lights. However, as far as the strobe, you cannot do much there. Let me just put this phone here on this side here, and basically what I'm going to be doing is to use my Sakonic meter, and I'm using the I'm sorry, not much of light here, so let me just put it here, please. I'm sorry for that. So I'm gonna do it like this. Okay, so essentially we're using the Sakonic meter, so I'm using it at 200 ISO 200 speed. All right, and I'm gonna be using this to test. So basically I'm gonna be in C group, and I'm gonna hit it. I turned off this pulse buff there. I turned it off because I'm gonna measure now this one here. So this is 2 to 1. Okay, so I'm gonna measure this one here first. So let's go ahead and do that. And what I'm gonna do here, let's go ahead and let's do this. Okay, so I'm getting 9. Let's repeat it. Getting same measurement, 9. Okay, let me just make sure. Now we're gonna turn this off here, and we're gonna turn the other one on, and both are set to minimal power, and we're gonna go ahead and test the other side now. Okay, let's go ahead and test. It was on a higher power. I didn't dump the charge. Let's repeat that. Now this should be accurate. Okay, here we go. So I'm getting 5. So 9 and 5. So makes sense. I will dial 9 in the camera. Now let's go ahead and move you to my laptop here. Sorry for I'm not good at recording videos, please forgive me for that. So right now I'm gonna get only the exposure. Let me just move it down. So I'm shooting tethered. Alright, let's do this. And just gonna expand it a little bit. Here we go, that should be good. And what we're gonna do here is just to pop, I'm gonna pop this on the camera. And I'm gonna make sure that I am, let me just go ahead with the live view here to show you exactly where my camera is a frame and what is it framing. So this is the live view of phase 1. Okay, so this is what I am framing. I'm using most of the sensor, and when I'm gonna crop is gonna be very minimal amount of lost pixels. Okay, so that is the live view. Let's turn it off and take the first shot after I turn on both lights. So let's turn the camera left on because it was off when I measured the camera right. Alright, so here's camera left on, camera light on, group C, main light, and that's where we're gonna find our exposure. Let's go ahead for the first shot. I'm gonna do this. We got the first shot now. It's coming. All right, so looking at the shot, maybe a little bit hot on the right. I think because the grid sometimes can be very tricky when you measure. Let me just do something here. Okay, let's do it like that. I'm just moving the direction of the light a little bit. And let's take another shot and see if that makes a difference. Better. Here we go. So that's the tricky part of using the grid, because simply with the grid, a slight movement or placement of your Sekonic meter is going to give you a different lighting. So essentially, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do white balancing on my phone as far as the screen goes. So, but the exposure is good. And the background is gray. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn on, I'm gonna turn off the main light right now. Since I found my exposure is good. If I'm gonna go ahead and do this, you can see that is basically details are great. You can see the fibers, perfect. And it's in focus, sharp, that's good. So let's go ahead and turn off the main now. And I'm gonna turn it off. Let me try to show you exactly what I'm doing here. All right. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so basically what I'm gonna do now is to turn off the main. And I'm gonna go ahead and go for the background and put it on manual half power, okay? All right, and let's see, what do we get? We should be able to get a silhouette. So let's do that. And I'm gonna take a shot. Still we are at f9. Here we go. So we got a silhouette now. Let me just magnify this a little bit. And the nice thing is there's a silhouette. And let's get the exposure alarm here to see if it's burned it out. You can see the whole area of red here. The whole area of red here is 255. So I have 255 all the way here out of the camera without any Photoshop. Maybe a little bit here, a little bit here. And those are the two flaps. They are still outside the object, so I'm able to crop them later on. But at least I don't have to do much of work with the Photoshop because this is already 255. So if I want to just zoom in to show you the numbers, I don't know if it will show it. Okay. Let me just do this. So you can see 255, 255, 255. Okay, all right, that's good. So we got silhouette, and what I'm gonna do right now is to go ahead and turn the fill. So I have then the all the way, as long as I'm having about 2 stops between the background and between the main, I should be okay. So the background is a little bit between 1 to 2 stops above the main. I should be good. So now, right now, I am in the back at half power of the minus 1/3. So about half of the power of the SB 700. Half of their power gave me that nice white background. Okay, I'm gonna go for the fill now. Now the fill, I'm gonna put it at 1/8 of the SB 800 because I measured before I recorded this video, and when I measured, I made sure that I'm not going more than 2 stops, 1.5 to 2 stops between the back and between the front, so I don't wash out my product. Okay, so right now I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture of the background on, the fill on, the main off. Now you can see that the product is a little bit out of the silhouette, still not full exposure, it's dark. And you can see now that the white is extending all the way here. So if I'm going here 255, right now 254, here 254, which is reasonable, very reasonable, 252. So at the bottom of the bottom here is 252. Let me show you that. So this is where it is right now, and look at the reading. Let me just get it closer. So you get 252, 252, which is very nice. If you go to the top, it's 255. So the whole area is red. I am doing very well here, and no major work needs to be done with Photoshop when I'm going to deal with this file. My product is lightly lit with the fill flash, and now I'm going to turn on the main exposure. So everything is on now. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on the main exposure, and that will be the pulsy buff, both of them, and let's hit that. Nice, nice. The product is well lit. The background is white. All right, and let's see if I can close in And you can see, for example, let me just do this. You can see how the details are maintained, the contrast is maintained. Let me just move it around. Look how it's, the details, you see the fibers. Now, one problem, small teeny problem, there's no escaping of that, okay? Because this product has fibers. So basically, some of the fibers here are a little bit burned out, which will be brought in the post very easily. So you can apply a small teeny brush that will dial in, adjustment brush, and you can dial in a negative exposure, very minimal, and you can bring those fibers back.